Welcome back, everyone, to Ferris Sports Update. Time to talk Bulldog Hockey, and with us, head coach Bob Daniels. And Coach, welcome to the show and an exciting weekend this past weekend.
It sure was, Rob, and it's good to be here.
The Bulldogs going down to Columbus, Ohio, taking on the number 5 team in the country in Ohio State, and you were able to come back with 5 of a possible 6 points. A victory on Friday night, 4-3, and then a shootout win on Saturday.
Yeah, but both games were great hockey games, and you'd expect that going into the game. As you said, Ohio State was number 5 in the country, but just the week before they were tied for number 1 in the country. So they have a terrific hockey team, and they're in the midst right now of what I think our team has already gone through this year. May go through again, I hope not, but every team in our league seems to be going through it. They're at a time right now where their team seems to be stalling a little bit, and we went in there knowing that they had lost twice the week before to Michigan, and what we had hoped to do on Friday night was to come out hard, get on top of them, and maybe start planting some seeds of doubt into their minds. But I think our league is so good right now. I looked right before the show started. I think we have 5 teams in the top 10 of the country, including ourselves now. And what that means, though, is somewhere along the line, every team's going to have their moment. And I just think right now Ohio State's probably struggling, and they're not off by much. They're a good team, but we deserve obviously some credit. We played very well ourselves.
You got off to a great start, jumped out to a 4-0 lead in Friday's game, as we have some highlights of that game, but Ohio State able to come back, and they made it interesting there in the third period.
Boy, did they ever. It was almost a tale of 2 different games. We jumped out early, which was what we were hoping to do, and we did. We scored 4 goals and had a 4-0 lead partway through the game. Ohio State came back to score 1 in the second. It was 4-1 going into the third. They scored twice more. Now, the next thing we know, we're about 4 minutes to go, maybe 5 minutes to go in the game, we're down on a 5-on-3 penalty kill. So it couldn't have been worse at that moment, but I give our guys credit. It's almost like it shocked us into playing well. And overall in the weekend, and certainly in that game, I thought our specialty teams, what a difference. We were 3 for 6 on the power play. We held them 1 for 8 on Friday night. On Saturday, I think we were 1 for 4 and they were 0 for 5. So on the weekend, we held them 1 for 13. That's the difference between us winning right now and early, at the mid-season point, where all of a sudden those 1-goal wins were 1-goal losses.
You talk about the power play, 3 of 6 in that Friday night game, and it seems like that's an area where you've really made some nice progression here in the second half of the season.
We have, and it kind of defeated one of my axioms or one of my beliefs. I've always felt like sometimes the more you practice a power play, the more you press on it, the worse you do. Well, we were going poorly, and so about the last 2 weeks we spent a great deal of our time on the power play and working on it. And I don't know if that's what's helped it. I don't know if you could figure it out, you do the same every week. But it's great to see us, and what a relief it is to score goals in the power play. It takes so much pressure off the team. And then conversely, our penalty kill has been, earlier in the year we were holding teams 1 for 5, and when I say 1 for 5, I meant 1 for 5 games. Well, now all of a sudden teams are scoring a power play goal against us a night, and we're back to what I consider to be, we've got some integrity to our penalty kill. And I think the obvious thing when you're not killing penalties well is stop taking them. And so we started with that philosophy and then worked from there.
You came back on Saturday night in a game that went back and forth, finished in a 3-3 overtime tie, but a couple nice goals in the shootout to pick up the extra point in the standings.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about, I'm not overly a big fan of shootouts, but when you're in them, they count for a point in the standings, and it becomes very important. And the game itself was a great hockey game between really 2 top 10 teams in the country. It was hard fought, never got more than a 1-goal differential. We always had the lead, or tied. We were never had to fight from behind the whole weekend, which is good. But it was just a nail biter all the way right through the end. Overtime, we had a couple chances, they did too. So a tie was probably the perfect result to really what was an even game. In the shootout, it's kind of the luck of the draw. I'll give credit to a couple players. Kyle Bonus scored a great goal, and Derek Graham, a terrific game winner in the shootout. But he also had a goal, a couple assists on the game. Since we've moved him from defense to forward, he's really found his own. He's really come into his own, I should say, and he looks very comfortable at center right now.
Taylor Nilsson picked up the win in net on Friday night, and he's been playing an awful lot here in the second part of this season. But you came back with C.J. Mott, the freshman, on Saturday, and he was able to get the victory in the shootout.
Yeah, and I thought to the casual observer, to the casual fan, it's probably odd that we switched out the two goaltenders. I think Taylor's on a 5-6 game undefeated streak. And what had happened was CJ had lost his edge a little bit, and like a lot of freshmen, the season started to wear on him, and I thought his practice habits were not what they should be. And, you know, in talking with CJ, one of the things when your game's not as good, you got to be good in practice. You're going to develop your confidence in practice. And there's not a league where you want to develop your confidence in game action. So we worked with CJ to identify that. He's really worked hard for the last 2 weeks in practice. You can see his game coming back to the form we knew earlier in the year, and we wanted to reward him with a game. In the same token, Taylor's been carrying the mail for a long time now. We thought he could use a break. How critical was that extra point with the standing so tight, being able to pick up that shootout point with so many teams so close in the CCHA race? Yeah, boy, is it ever close. You're right, Rob. I mean, well, geez, I think 3 points separate 6 spots in the standings right now. But so each point is going to be huge from now to the end of the season. Each one of the positions in the standings makes such a big difference come playoff time. Whether you're home or away, whether you get a bye, you don't get a bye, your seed, who you play. I mean, everything is so crucial right now. And we're, I think, 5th as we sit right now, but we have games in hand. I think winning percentage-wise, we're 3rd in the conference. We've given ourselves an opportunity. If we play well, we're in the conversation for the league title right now. And so, yeah, each point's going to be, you know, each point's going to be worth its weight in gold. Another big series coming up this weekend. You return home to take on Michigan State on Friday and Saturday at 7:05, and always a tough matchup against the Spartans, and they're another team that's right there in the mix in the standings. Yeah, I think they're a point behind us, and you know, you can throw a net around all the different teams. And we're in a difficult part of our schedule, coming off Ohio State, having Michigan State this weekend. Next weekend it's Notre Dame. It just keeps coming and coming. But you know, what's exciting is we've made these games valuable. We've made these games to where they have a bearing, and they're important and they're relevant. So we're excited about that. Michigan State brings on a host of challenges. Tom Manassas, the first-year coach of that team, has done an outstanding job, I think, of taking a group of kids who a year ago maybe underachieved, and now is getting them to believe and play well. Should be a great crowd on hand, a near sellout crowd both nights, hopefully, as the Bulldogs take on the Spartans this weekend. Boy, we're looking forward to it, Rob. We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.